Before you address the problems, the agitations will keep rising. Even if he kills all the people of Kenya, the problems will still be there. The sooner he starts dealing with the problem, the better for him. Otherwise, as it is, it's now no longer one term, it's half term. Now we are no longer divided along tribal lines. We are people who are agitating for the good, common good, the good of everybody in the society, irrespective of their tribe. That narrative will be rejected. It will not hold any water. It will not wash. The Kenyan people, at this particular point in our history, are more interested in a society that works for all. So that you don't need to look at your tribesman to be in office to say that governance is good. Governance is only good when you look at your dinner table, when you look at your economic condition, and you say, I'm able to live a life of dignity and to provide for my family. That is when you can say the administration is delivering for you.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payment, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesongroup.com today. Whiteson Group, simple, reliable, delivered.
Very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candid Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evan Sokinyi. It's always a pleasure to have you on board this fine evening. I'm joined here by my resident guest, Wakili Willis Otieno, who is the deputy party leader of Safina Party, as well as a constitutional lawyer and governance expert. Wakili, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Yes.
It seems like the mood in the country is not changing anytime soon. People are still talking tough despite the death toll from the Sabasaba protest rising all the way past 35 in number. Let's have this conversation here. The president is also talking, and on the other hand is blaming parents for failing to guide their children the right way. And a lot is also happening. People talking of our person here, and of course you had those sentiments by the Belgut member of parliament concerning the president's shoot on the leg order and all those kind of things that followed thereafter. What do you make of this general situation in the country?
Shoot to kill, shoot to maim. Shoot in any way a peaceful protester is illegal and unconstitutional. The young people are agitating because of the failed political system that we have. That we must always remember. And you cannot blame parents for a failed political system. You cannot fail parents for the joblessness of our youth. You cannot blame parents for the high cost of living. You cannot blame parents for the failed shift share system. You cannot blame parents for the shambolic university funding model. You cannot blame parents for the failed system that William Ruto is presiding over. The blame squarely lies on the doorsteps of William Ruto. That is the person to be blamed. And if you look at the agitation, the youths are not agitating for anything outside the Constitution. Everything that informs this agitation is founded in our Constitution. And the manner in which they are agitating also is founded in the Constitution. So there's nothing illegal or untoward that I can say our young people have done that they should receive bullets, batons, tear gas, and water cannons when they implement their constitution and demand of that which the constitution prescribes. The duty to defend the constitution is the only duty given to all citizens of the Republic of Kenya, to defend and to protect the constitution. Legacy politicians are uncomfortable with rising voices, and their response is twofold. Number one, brutalize the young people, and number two, try to divide them using tribal politics, tribal arithmetics, divide them along tribal lines. That will not work. The problems I've enumerated here knows no tribe. They are problems that are faced by the people of Kenya in their unison, irrespective of which tribe they come from, including even from William Ruto's own neighbors, who may be his kinsmen, are facing the same problems that the person in the farthest part of Kenya, in Mandera, Banisa, is facing. So our problems are national in nature. And before you address the problems, the agitations will keep rising. Even if he kills all the people of Kenya, the problems will still be there. The sooner he starts dealing with the problem, the better for him. Otherwise, as it is, it's now no longer one term, it's half term.
The president is looking at the situation in the country and is blaming on poor parenting, so you don't agree with that?
So poor parenting, if somebody has been educated to defend his constitution, that is poor parenting, then we must question his own parenting skills. Because what may I see on the streets are people who are acting in accordance with our constitution, are people who are demanding for accountability, transparency, as provided in Article 10 of our constitution, are people who are demanding for a life of dignity, for their socioeconomic rights, as provided in Article 43 of our constitution. People who are demanding for the full implementation of the constitution and life that is guided by what is provided in the constitution. Their parents cannot be accused of poor parenting. Their parents should be celebrated for raising a generation that understands its rights and that is ready to go out to fight for that which their constitution provides for. So the poor parenting can only be shoved back to William Ruto, not to the parents who've raised these gallant Kenyans who are ready to speak out for the better of the society, not for individual comfort.
Well, reacting to the same things that are actually happening in the country, he also pointed a finger at the clergy, and he's saying here that, look, our religious leaders are actually inciting the young people to go on the streets, and that is why we are witnessing this loss of lives and all that. What's the role of religious leaders in this moment while we are at crossroads as a country?
You know, I find William Ruto to be very comical.
Why?
Because when those religious leaders were singing his praises, he was very happy with them. But when they call him to account, when they refer to the constitution as the basic document of our governance, there's a problem with them. I don't think there's any clergy in Kenya as we speak today who has voiced support to the youth agitation, has done it in a way that is contrary to the constitution. Everything is founded within the constitution and is uncomfortable with it. So the problem cannot be all of us. The problems of Kenya cannot be that all of us are wrong and is the only one who is right. When you find yourself in a situation where you are the only person who thinks you are right and everybody else is wrong, then prudence will require that you introspect and ask that you're actually the problem. It's not everybody else. Because governance is about everybody, it's not about you.
Okay.
And if you are taking a position that is contrary to everybody else's position, then you are the problem. And what they are demanding for is a demand that is informed by their own constitution, by which you are supposed to govern. How can you have a problem with that? Then you are the problem, not the people.
Not even the church, because he's saying that, look, in the recent past we've seen the church rise, and I've actually encouraged the young people to even keep peace as they go about demonstrating and doing all this. But then at the end of the day, we see these things turn tragic, and maybe to some extent the president feels that the church should be.
The tragedy is brought by the police. And it is William Ruto and his people who are in control of that police unit. They are the ones who are allowing the atrocities committed by the police to go on. That is the tragedy. And they have refused and failed to hold to account the police officers responsible for the units committing these atrocities. In fact, Lindsay Baraza was only charged due to the vigilance of our young people who were able to track and trace him using his digital footprints to his precise location and the police station where he is deployed. That is what informed his charging. If it were not for the diligence of our young people to track and trace this gentleman, the police would have issued a tired statement that investigations are still going on, no stone shall be left unturned. And they will never tell you the identity of this person. The identity was unmasked by the diligence of our young people. That is the only time when we see now the wheels of justice attempt to turn.
And talking of Cleansy Baraza, looking at him at the courts, they're being charged with murder, of course, of Boniface the other time. What kind of message does this actually now send to our police officers and those who are mandated to take care of the country's security?
You saw Cleansy Baraza sitting in court, alone, solo, shedding tears, a gun dog discarded by his masters. That is the fate that awaits all police officers who've allowed themselves to be misused by legacy politicians. They will all join Cleansy Baraza as discarded gun dogs on the dock, lonely, forlorn, and on their own, without the support of the legacy politicians who've abused them, who've misused them to undermine our constitution. That is their fate. It may happen today, it may happen tomorrow, but it sure shall happen. Even in retirement, let them rest assured that these atrocities they are committing against the people of Kenya shall not go unpunished. That should be a learning lesson to any police officer. That when you are deployed by rabid legacy politicians to brutalize your own people, always remember that we have the rule of law here. We have a constitution. And there is no limitation of action in criminal law.
Okay.
You can be tried today, tomorrow, or even in retirement, for as long as you're alive. In fact, my proposal is, these trials, even if you die, we should conduct posthumous trials, where somebody should be tried and his name recorded in history as somebody who committed atrocities against the people of Kenya. You should never be allowed to rest in peace for these acts.
Okay.
That is the fate that awaits these rogue police officers.
Okay. So, Wakili, all these are happening at a time when the country, as I said before, is at a crossroads. But then one thing that I've noticed in the recent past is that the tribal card and agenda is actually taking a very central and integral part of this particular conversation as we head towards the next general elections. And of course, you had what Speaker Moses Wetangula was saying, telling the people of Tanzania, especially the Kalenjins who are at that area, to protect one of their own. Of course, that is President William Ruto. And of course, Jackson Mandago talking of it is their term now. They are supposed to go for 2 terms. The same statement was reiterated by Koech, of course, the Belgut member of parliament, saying, look, the others went for 2 terms. Why is it that when it's our turn to eat, then you want us to go for 1 term?
No, that's the language of legacy politicians. One thing I can assure those legacy politicians, the group that will lead the onslaught to remove William Ruto will be Kenyans, and more so Kenyans from the Kalenjin community. But they are Kenyans. They will not be doing it as Kalenjins. They will be doing it as Kenyans. Kenyans are tired of legacy politics. And at this moment, the leader of legacy politicians is William Ruto. You expect them, it is natural and it's expected of them to try to use the old tool book, tribe as the basis to divide us. It will not work. That will be expected.
Why are you saying that? Because I'm like wondering if at all this card has been used before with the very politicians. They are saying that this time round at least.
It will not work because remember, from June 25th, 2024, we are operating on a different template. A template where Kenyans are agitating for the good of everybody, not of a tribe.
Okay.
Our problems knows no tribe. The problem faced by the Kalenjin in Sugoi is the same problems faced by the Somali in Banisa. It's the same problem faced by the Kamba in Kitui. The same problem faced by the Taita in Taita Taveta. It knows no tribal boundary. There are problems affecting human beings. Legacy politicians are still living in the period pre-June 25th, where Kenyans will be divided along tribal lines. Now we are no longer divided along tribal lines. We are people who are agitating for the good, common good, the good of everybody in the society, irrespective of their tribe. That narrative will be rejected. It will not hold any water. It will not wash. The Kenyan people, at this particular point in our history, are more interested in a society that works for all. So that you don't need to look at your tribesman to be in office to say that governance is good. Governance is only good when you look at your dinner table, when you look at your economic condition, and you say, I'm able to live a life of dignity and to provide for my family. That is when you can say the administration is delivering for you. An administration will not deliver for you just because the president or the CS comes from your tribe or your village. It doesn't work that way. That is old politics. It worked for them. That time Kenyans didn't have their attention and focus on the economy. It could work. Now, the Kenyans people attention and laser sharp focus is on the economy. Come up with the economic policies that will help us change this.
Okay.
If it's not working, tribe will not fly.
But then do you really believe that the country is past that particular moment?
But okay, I've told you this so many times and you argue.
You've told me, but then I see this.
The other time you told me that
happening
Saba will not happen, the memorial will not happen, legacy politicians will have their day. Saba happened here.
Okay.
June 25th memorial happened here. Which legacy politician led those processes? It was Kenyans in their numbers, self-mobilized, coming out to commemorate June 25th. It was the same Kenyans in their numbers coming out on Saba to speak that the problems that led us to the streets in the first place last year have not been addressed.
Okay.
And we are demanding for a better society. So if you still have faith in legacy politicians that they will control the narrative of this country, I'm sorry. That phase has passed.
My problem is
In their time,
from that
we've already broken. That's why I'm telling you, you are seeing mobilizations and agitations done by Kenyans in their own numbers without the participation or mobilization or organization by legacy politicians. We are now making demands.
Okay.
People are now agitating independent of legacy politicians driving the narrative. But you seem to think the legacy politicians who used to control this narrative before are the ones who will come back. If they could, why didn't they organize their own parallel political rallies to challenge the narrative? They can't. So they organize certain nonsenses called economic forum platforms, empowerment platforms, and spew tribal politics. It will not wash. The Kenyan people are focused. And the energy that you're seeing out there of the Kenyan people demanding for better governance and accountability, that is the energy that is going to inform our politics. And it's already informing our politics.
So can we therefore agree that as a nation, we are past this tribal kind of arrangement?
We are. Okay. In where I sit, I believe we are.
Finally, as we wind this show, look at the kind of drama that went about the arrest of the TikToker by the name Kakan, who had actually talked about the police and their role in all these abductions. And I was trying to look at that vis-a-vis what Nelson Koech talked about. You see, sometimes I really get sad when I listen to some of our leaders speak, because he was talking of they must go for the second term. And at the same time, he was like saying, Mchunge yo amani and all that. I was like, what is it happening here? So how comes no arrest has been made so far, in as much as the member of parliament said that the president made an understatement by telling the police to shoot on the leg? But
the police are now lackeys of legacy politicians. Okay. They cannot act in defense of the rule of law. They are not implementing our constitution. That's the truth. DCI cannot arrest Koech. There was that women rep, I think, from Baringo,
yes,
who was also saying nonsense.
Yes.
And I think also Cherargeo, we've seen several of them.
I've seen a number of them.
A number of them speaking nonsense. But you see, the DCI is not acting. But then when a Kenyan calls for good governance, we see the same police force coming out with guns to shoot and kill. They abduct. That is why I believe that they must have their day in court even as well.
Okay.
Even the DCI who have subverted the rule of law and have allowed the institution to be misused to undermine our constitution, they must have their day at some point in court to answer for these atrocities, because they are enablers.
Okay.
When people are committing open crimes of incitement, telling you of conspiracies to undermine the due process of the law and the constitution, we don't see DCI coming out to take any action, even to just invite them, to summon them to write statements. No action. But a Kenyan who does a very peaceful video is hounded out of his workplace, held incommunicado, and then finally released. No charges preferred against him. Just with a view to intimidate It is an abuse of police powers, and we must call it for it. The police should stop abusing their powers to support legacy politicians.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop this conversation at this point in time, but then you can weigh in and tell us what you actually think about the state of the nation with regards to the statements being made by the president and the political elite here as we move towards the next general elections. Allow me to stop for now till we have this conversation again. Have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.